Peace, 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 peace and love, family. Welcome to BBT's Holy Day Book Reading. It's your brother, Mufti A. Wright Bay, and we want to welcome you in again on another Holy Day book reading where we just share food for thought, and we like to bring out some writings to just open up discussions and spark some inspiration. We deal with everything from historical records to finance to health and wellness, just to spirituality. So we like to bring everything out in the open as the Holy Spirit gives us lead to do so. And tonight is just like any other Friday that we bring out something by the Spirit, but tonight we working with the Moorish paradigm books. Brother Hakeem Bey, and we want to send high praise and love to Sheikh Khari as he makes his travels. May Allah cover him and the Goodman Bey family, Islam. But without further ado, I want to open up in our map, which is the Moorish American prayer on tonight. And it begins and goes as follows. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation. By night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Ayah Asha'ayah. Shalom Aleichem. Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim. Al-Haq, Ya Muhammad. Islam, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Holy Aisha, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you for your presence. Islam. You know how we do each and every Friday. Thank you for joining the BBT for the Holy Day book reading. Let's get this going to roll.
I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of neither means. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dreams. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't really. It ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun, it's an everyday theme. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at night, I rest in peace. They remember me, but I am not Haram or beef.
Let's go. They remember me, but I'm not Haram or beef. Grace and peace to Noble Brian Hicks Bay for that audio. Always on the introduction. Very marvelous. I'd always come through. But before we begin, I would like to bring something on stage to give you a little background of the BBT. If this is your first introduction to the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, Islam. So right now, what you're seeing on your screen is the temple website, right? Which is bbtsciencetemple.com. Right? When you open up the page on bbtsciencetemple.com, you'll see a few things, right? Let's get into some things real quick. I'm going to scroll up. A synchronized path of learning. Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, more science with a map and a guide. And here you have student membership and you have private class access. So we want you to come back and keep studying and investigating us, as we will you, to see what we have to offer. Islam. So I would admonish you to go out to www.bbtsciencetemple.com and take a look around. Spirit, mind, body, divine creed, and nationality. This is our commitment to health and well-being, right? We focuses on a whole you and extends to exclusive benefits and perks from our business partners, which I will get to in a moment, right? Making your association not just a transaction, but a relationship of growth. This is what we want to connect with, a relationship of growth, Islam, with us, you're not just a donor, right? And we see this $40 a month donation, which we are advocating for some of our followers and other fellow light seekers uh, to be connected to something that is forming and building. And we admonish you to connect with us. We reaching out to you, Islam. So with us, you're not just a donor, right? You're a part of a community that believes in enhancing our lives and making each and every day exceptional by applied mathematics. Islam, your generous $40 contribution to this cause will help to build a brighter, more enlightened community. One step closer to a world of love. What? Truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Islam. If you venture to the website, you can make your donation here, but you can also uh, donate via Venmo. That's Burning Bush Tabernacle, right? If you want to do Zelle as well, it's Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. So we're out there, family, and when we love to receive your financial love as well, and you receive a tax exempt receipt from us as well with every donation, as well as trinkets and literature and some regalia and things. So you get the benefits as well. So you're not just a donor, right? So we stay connected. That's what we want to make sure that we get across. Now, why the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, right? Man, know thyself, and to thy own self be true. This Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School will introduce you to the history and spirituality of Moorish science and world history from a Moorish American perspective. We are a Moorish Science Temple and School, right? For all those who are labeled, classified, identified, or described as Black, Negro, Colored, Ethiopian, West Indian, Native American, Native Indian, American Indian, American Indian, Aboriginal, Black Indian, Latino, Mexican, Afro-American, African American, First People, First Nation, Original People, Asiatics, Indigenous, Paleo, Pre-Adamite, Autochthon, etc. We all must come together in solidarity and understand the fact that these titles are all general misnomers. That we all are Aboriginal and Indigenous people to the earth plane in our respective places, right? I'm a leave you with this last thing. In our mission, Act 6 from the Moorish Science Temple of America, Divine Constitution and Bylaws, where I say, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, and that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government. We are not preaching an overthrow of the government. We're not preaching a move and disenfranchised from this de facto government. We're not preaching any of these things that you may have heard, right? We're attentive to the soul and the self. And how do we build up our character by using our workman tools to better ourselves and our community, which is the basis of community development and dealing with self first. Islam. So that's what we got to get right first. Work on self. Man, know thyself, and to thy own self be true. But I just wanted to share some of that so that way when you venture on the website, you can get to learn some more. Because, yeah, it's more there. I just gave you a little bit right there, right? So you can see more about us. You can click here. You see the offer truth have no sides. You know, our aims, what we aim for, Islam. And more importantly, you can see the partners that we have, right? We got Moorish Haberdasher. Come on. There's a couple, there's a couple that we have over here. But wanted to make sure that I at least get some of that across to you so you can take a look at that. Islam, 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 Islam. alodesignpros.com, herbsofmaya.com, buying your book, bhbaymusic.com. So take a trip over to bbtsciencetemple.com and learn more about the BBT. Islam. Now, let's get on to our reading. Let's do what we do. 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 Boom. Moorish Paradigm, Book 8, As Quiet as It's Kept. Let me give you a little preface of what we're going to get into briefly tonight as we're sharing this literature by Hakeem Bey. Right, so this work, the Journal of the Moorish Paradigm, Book 8, delves into a rich tapestry of history, right? Spirituality, science, and cultural exploration. It seeks to uncover hidden truths about the Moorish civilization, its global influence, and its connection to ancient traditions and knowledge systems. The text bridges historical narratives with metaphysical concepts, offering insights into interconnectedness of humanity, the universe, and the divine through topics such as the Moorish legacy in Europe, the science of the mind, traditional African religions, and alternate healing practices. This journal invites readers to expand their understanding of history, spirituality, and the laws governing existence. It is both a call to self-discovery and a guide to teaching and reclaiming knowledge that has shaped civilizations across time. Islam. So let's get into some of this. Let's jump right into it. The Moorish civilization and the dominions of Amexem, 1500 BC to present. And this is part 4. So we've brought the Moorish paradigm books out a plethora of times, as Sheikh has taught from them in many different ways. So we continue to bring out these pieces of literature so that we can be reminded not only of our greatness, but our impact on the world, and not from a pompous or braggadocious frame of mind, but just to be inspired of what your ancestors have done, and also the greatness and the potential that you have within, the God-given potential. For as the scriptures declare, you are of a royal priesthood, right? A holy nation, a strange people. He said that were called out of darkness into his marvelous light. So we should give forth praises for him who have called us out of darkness. So this light that we bring by the grace of Allah is just to enlighten each and every one of us, and may it touch your spirit as we read through these writings. Islam. So the Moorish civilization and the dominions of Amexem, 1500 BC to present, part 4, England, Ireland, and Scotland. Interesting. We have seen how, after the cataclysms of 1500 BC, there was a great migration of Hamites and Canaanites westward into West Africa, North Africa, and the Americas. When they arrive at these places, they find their brothers and sisters who were aboriginal there, or who had came there from their earlier migrations. These populations who migrated there mixed with those people who were already there. And we, the dark-skinned, woolly-haired people of West Africa, North Africa, and the Americas are their modern-day descendants. Prior to the cataclysms of 1500 BC, the civilization of our ancestors, which flourished in the form in from the Americas to Egypt, was known as Atlantis, or the Atlantean Empire. After the cataclysms of 1500 BC, and this is where we're talking about the dividing of the land, where we now have, which was created, the Atlantic Oceans. Islam, After these cataclysms of 1500 BC, the disrupted Atlantean Empire was later reunited under the the Moorish Empire, which at varying times and to varying degrees covered almost the same extent of territory. At the height of the Moorish Empire, there were Moorish dominions in West Africa, North Africa, the Mediterranean, Spain, Portugal, southern France, England, Ireland, Scotland, the Americas, from Alaska to Peru. There were also Moorish dominions and rulers in India, Asia, and the Pacific. And Shikari just was enlightening us some of the brotherhood on the cities, which is SIDDSI of North Africa. When we talk about a certain region, that you have a people and a certain classification or a name that the cities would be connected to, as it would be in India, Hindustan, as we will see even in this reading. We have already looked at, to a degree, the Moors and Moorish dominions of West Africa, North Africa, and the Americas. Now let's take a look at Moors in England, Ireland, and Scotland. In this section, I will draw largely on the work of Godfrey Higgins and David MacRitchie. The following quotes from David MacRitchie's Ancient and Modern Britons, which we also have that literature if you would like to delve deep into that, very enlightening. David MacRitchie's Ancient and Modern Britons will show that the first inhabitants were a people classified as Eastern Ethiopians by Greek historians such as Herodotus and known as Australoids by David MacRitchie. And he writes, when one learns that the people who are understood to represent the oldest known inhabitants of our islands, which is Britain he was talking of, are thus classified under a denomination which covers the descendants of a supposed blending of fair whites and Australoids, one naturally inquires further as to the position and characteristics of these Australoids. On looking at the map referred to, it is seen that they consist of the whole Aboriginal population of Australia, of the natives of interior India, the Deccan, and the inhabitants of Middle and Upper Egypt, the whole area indeed that is occupied by the descendants of the ancient Egyptians. Mr. Huxley depicts the Australoids in the following words. The males of this type are commonly of fair stature, with well-developed torso and arms, but relatively and absolutely slender legs. The color of the skin is some shade of chocolate brown, and the eyes are very dark, brown or black. The hair is usually raven black, fine and silky in texture. And again, we are reminded that David MacRitchie is talking of the ancient and modern Britons. We're talking about those that are inhabiting the lands. Come on now. These are the Aborigines of Europe that we're talking about. This above description of the lands and people referred to as Australoid in the above quote corresponds to Herodotus' description of the Eastern Ethiopians. Let's read what Herodotus wrote here. Greek. The Eastern Ethiopians, for there were two sorts of Ethiopians in the army, served with the Indians. These were just like the southern Ethiopians, except for their language and their hair. Their hair is straight, while that of the Ethiopians in Libya is the crispiest and curliest in the world. Herodotus, the Histories, Penguin Classics, page 468. Oh, indeed, from the 1st century BC, when Virgil had written of the Nile rising in India until at least the time of Marco Polo, when all countries that bordered on the Indian Ocean was still referred to as the Indies, the terms Ethiopia and India appear to have been used as though they were completely interchangeable. Did you hear that? The terms Ethiopia and India appeared to have been used as though they were completely interchangeable. They went together. This had happened, as one historian explained, because the earlier geographers had always regarded Ethiopia as the western part of the great empire of India. Come on, we can get deeper with this. Herodotus, the Histories, Penguin Classics, page 468, again continues, says that Ethiopia and Hindustan. Now, I recall me saying about the cities. We will come back to this. That Ethiopia and Hindustan, or India, which Hindustan is the original name of India, Hindustan, or Hindi, or Hindu, Hindustani, right, or Hindustan, India, were people of the same extraordinary race. So we want to understand what the writer is making the comparison of Ethiopia and Hindustan, or India, being part of that same exemplary or extraordinary race, in confirmation of which it may be added that the mountaineers of Bengal and Bahar can hardly be distinguished in some of their features, particularly their lips and noses, from modern Abyssinians, who whom the Arabs call the children of what? Cush. And the ancient Hindus, according to Strabo, differed in nothing from the African, but in the straightness and smoothness of their hair, while that of the others was crisp or woolly, a difference proceeding chiefly, if not entirely, from the respective humidity or dryness of their atmosphere. Come on, let's read some more before we jump down. Thus, it can be seen that word Ethiopian referred to a dark-skinned people, of whom the ones with the straight to wavy hair were called Eastern Ethiopians, and the ones with woolly or nappy hair, if you will, were referred to as Western Ethiopians. Although Australoid, as described in the quote from the first quote, describes their hair as being raven black, fine, and silky in texture, this is not 100% accurate, for many so-called Australoids have woolly, nappy hair also. For later on, the same author quoted by David McRitchie says, in the Andaman Islands, in the peninsula of Malacca, in the Philippines, in the islands which stretch from Wallace's Line eastward and southward, nearly parallel with the east coast of Australia, to New Caledonia, which this again, we getting into these names where we see New Caledonia. When we look up Caledonia, I want to give you this. Caledonia was the olden or ancient name for Ireland. We see New Caledonia. Now watch this. And finally, in Tasmania, men with dark skins and woolly hair occur, who constitute a special modification of the Negroid type, the Negroides, or Nigritos, the skull of the eastern and southern Negritos, present, as I have mentioned, a remarkable approximation to the astroloid type, Negritos. Ancient and modern Britons, David McRitchie, right? Now let's see, let's jump down some. Let's jump down some, right? Thus, it can be seen that the most ancient aboriginal inhabitants of Britain and the surrounding islands, watch this, were dark-skinned and woolly-haired, and were part of an Indo-European speaking people who inhabited the lands from India to Britain. Godfrey Higgins referring to the religion of Krishna, which Krishna is a term meaning black. He says the religion of this Negro god is found by the ruins of his temples and other circumstances to have been spread over an immense extent of country, even to the remotest parts of Britain, and to have been professed by devotees inconceivably numerous. So he's given a picture here of, if this looks familiar, Stonehenge in England, right? One of many megalithic structures built for astronomical, astrological, and chronological purpose. Megaliths means giant stones. So the writer writes on regarding the ancient Celts or Druids and Stonehenge. Godfrey Higgins says, in my essay to the Celtic Druids, I have shown that a great nation called Calte, of whom the Druids were the priests, spread themselves almost over the whole earth and are to be traced in their rude, gigantic monuments from India to the extremity of Britain. Who these can have been but the early individuals of the black nation of whom we have been treating, I know not. And this opinion, I am not singular. The learned Maurice says Cushites, i.e., Celts. Watch this. Maurice says Kuthites, i.e., Celts, built great temples. So he's right now equating the Celts or the Druids with the Kuthites or the Cushites. Now, watch this. Built great temples in India and Britain and excavated the caves of the former. And for, watch this, and the learned mathematician Reuben Burrow has no hesitation in pronouncing Stonehenge to be a temple of the black, curly headed Buddha. Now, these is what some historians are writing about these megalithic structures and these historical artifacts that are around our earth plane and giving the proper tribute to ones who erected it. And it reads on, Stonehenge were one of the many megalithic structures spread all over the world by ancient Cushites, Canaanites, and Hamites. Right, so let's jump down. Right, let's jump down. We get into this map. Right, come on, let's jump down. Now, it says the Jews, the Phoenicians, the Chaldee are all stated to have visited our islands. And he's speaking of Britain here. This is Godfrey Higgins, right? And Anacalypsis. He said at various periods, and perhaps to have colonized them. There seems little doubt that the Phoenicians, at any rate, were here. They indeed appeared to have been as great navigators as the British ever were. They are said to have crossed the Atlantic and planted a settlement in Florida. They are believed to have sailed far into the eastern seas and to various parts of Africa, and they are admitted to have visited all the western coasts of Europe, and in the time of Hiram, king of Tyre. Now, come on, to have voyaged far and wide in search of treasure at the building of Solomon the Great, the bidding of Solomon the Great. They are supposed to have traded at this time with the metal workers of Cornwall and to have colonized some parts of Ireland, and presumably it was during this period that the seal of Solomon was carved upon the Scottish stones. So you know that seal of Solomon, you know that's that dual trine, that's that hex alpha, right? That's that Moorish insignia. And when we talk about these, the Jews, the Phoenicians, the Chaldee, we're talking all about a same family, right? One nationality, many cultures. This was also the time when Queen Hatshepsut, Queen of Sheba, come on, sailed through the Straits of Gibraltar and across the Atlantic Ocean to where? America. In the next issue, we will get into the Moors of Britain and Europe and their connection with many of the noble families of Europe, the so-called Black nobility, Islam. But we want to read on, right? And before we go into this science of nature, God and the universe, because we're on good time. And again, these readings are given to spark inspiration, not only just of historical facts and records, but to know your lineage and your potentialities as we navigate this earth plane. And at times, there are always these forces that we're battling, and the most of them are within. So, to center our mind back on self, as I begin, man, know thyself, and to thy own self be true. First, we have to get the truth, right? These things help us navigate. So when we show up here by the grace of Allah on Holy Day and we bring forth literature and we raise the questions that we raise and spark the ideas that are being sparked, that's the Holy Spirit doing the teaching. We're just being the vessel. Islam, Islam. So let me answer this one of these questions here, and to bring us to center us again, right? So when we talk about the Moorish Empire, because we're about to kind of go into a different area of study at this particular point in time during the reading. So a lot of times we will have people say, well, what is so significant about this history or learning of the records of the past, right? And I just want to highlight something for us just to put it in our hippocampus, right? So the Moorish Empire holds significant historical and cultural importance as it represents a period of advanced civilization, global influence, and interconnectedness, right? So, following, as we spoke about the cataclysms of 1500 BC, um, we see the disrupted Atlantean Empire was later, kind of reunited, or what emerged out of the fallen Atlantis was the Moorish Empire, right? So, at its height, the Moorish Empire was a beacon of knowledge, science, and cultural exchange, mathematics, and philosophy. So, off the top, we're talking about a learned, civilized, highly advanced people. So, when you're talking about your blood that runs through your vein and your lineage, and what we have to stand up and put in front of our youth as an example of greatness, we don't have to look too far. We just have to be a clean glass and stand up and show them proof. Islam, peace. The Moors played a pivotal role in shaping the development of Europe and other religions or other regions, leaving a legacy of innovation and enlightenment. Their dominions and migrations also contributed to the blending of populations and the spread of ideas. So when we see this beautiful bouquet of the human family that we see, how did this come all about? These various hues and tones of humankind, So we're looking at the mothers and fathers of civilization who have spread out and caused these things to take place. Islam, so making them ancestors of many modern communities across the globe. So we're talking about this Moorish Empire, and it's bringing us into contact with our ancestry, right? So the Moorish Empire, I'm gonna leave you with this, symbolizes a period of unity, what? Of progress, what? And the profound impact of African and indigenous civilizations on world history. So this is why we keep bringing this up, and we're going to continue to, so until it's embedded in our spirit. And when we speak these things, and when we have so-called months that are dedicated for certain things, it can't be circumscribed that way. Islam. So let's move on. We're on good time. We got a couple more moments here. I want to jump into this science of nature, God in the universe. Islam. Nature is the effect or result of an initial cause, right? Nature or the universe is the result of a set of chain reactions initially set in motion by the thought of a supreme mind, right? So man, watch this, is a thought of Allah, right? All thoughts of Allah are infinite. They are not measured up by time. For the things that are concerned with time begin and end. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and that's from Noble Drew Ali, and that's page 4. We're gonna read a little bit more of this, right? So this supreme mind is what is referred to as God, the creator, within Judeo-Christian Islamic tradition, as well as in most other religious cultural traditions, right? This supreme mind or God was originally all that existed, per se, right? What? Alone, before creation, right? Come on. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was what? Without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and what? There was light. Of course, that's Genesis 1, verses 1 through 3. Realizing first that it did exist was the first step in creation, symbolized by the first sign of the zodiac, Aries. I want y'all to walk with me. And its key words is what? I am. That's a realization, right? When you say who, when you say I am that. Who is that I am? I am that I am. I am that I am. Once this supreme mind or God realized it existed and has always existed, it also realized the potential worlds that existed where? Within itself. This is symbolized by the second sign of the zodiac, what? Taurus. And its keyword, what? I have. This is an unfolding, right? At this point, however, there still was no physical creation or universe, only the realization by the supreme mind or God that it existed, always existed, and that it had within it infinite worlds in a potential state. There was only realization of existence and realization of potential. Man, I feel like preaching all through this. The thought then occurred to take all these potential worlds and make them manifest. This thought alone put in motion a series of chain reactions whose purpose, goal, and effect was to make manifest all the potential worlds this supreme mind or God had within itself. This thought to make all within manifest without is known to science as the Big Bang. It is symbolized by the third sign of the zodiac, Gemini. Shout out to those Geminis out there. And its keywords, I think. At this point, the supreme mind or God became God the creator, and the physical universe came into existence. The universe did not come into existence as a fully manifest copy of all the potential worlds within the supreme mind or God. The universe came into manifestation as a seed, a process, a chain reaction, which would eventually manifest all that which was originally in a potential state within the supreme mind or God. Because the universe manifested as a seed or process striving toward the manifestation of the all, this brought about what we refer to as what? Time. Why? Because, watch this, the universe manifested as a seed or a process striving toward the manifestation of the all. So an unfolding is what we're looking at. This brought about what we refer to as what? Time. Time is the measurement of one stage of this manifesting or unfolding process to another stage of this manifesting or unfolding process. Since the worlds within the initial supreme mind or God is infinite, the universe will take an infinite amount of time to what? Manifest all these infinite potential worlds. Thus, the universe is ever becoming. A wise man changes his mind often. For my Socratic thinkers out there, the universe is actual a process set in motion by the original thought. And this process has a specific goal to make all that which was potential in the supreme mind or God manifest in physical creation. There are an infinite number of potential worlds to manifest. In order for the universe or this process to manifest all these potential worlds, it must do two things simultaneously. Number one, multiply by division or increase the number of things or worlds in existence. And two, order, put all of these things and worlds into some type of order. So you got a multiply by division and ordering. Come on. And doing these two things, the universe is thus becoming what? More complex. So it's like compound on top of another compound, right? By increasing in quantity and increasing in order. So when an egg or ovum is fertilized, it increases the number of cells by dividing the cells. So one, then you got one, you divide that, you get two. You get the so the cells are then put into order by being classified and organized into different types of cells, which form different types of tissues, right? So these tissues in turn form different types of organs. These organs are then organized. Watch this. These organs are then what? Organized. Come on, as different parts of one body. Thus, the human body is the result of what? Multiplication by division and order. Well, you walk in mathematics. Peace, God. You walk in mathematics. The human body is the result of multiplication by division and order. Everything in existence comes from what? Multiplication by division and order. That's like if we're gonna make a move or do anything. All right, what we doing? How many of us is it here? Right? We take all what we have, put it in the pot. What? We multiply that 1 by 5. Right? That 5, whatever that make, boom. You change that in. What? We flip that and we back. This is what we do. Right? Now, everything in existence comes from multiplication and division and order. Thus, the human being manifests into the physical universe initially as what? A simple one-celled being. This is like giving me glimpses of just of anything that's forming. Whether it be an organization. Oh, this is the Holy Spirit, because this is coming right. Okay, it's coming right next. Watch this. Now it says, look, thus the human being manifests into the physical universe initially as a simple one-celled being or one-celled being, right, which multiplies by dividing and becomes a complex what? Organism, right, or organization of cells, tissues, organs, etc. Right? Thus, everything in nature, all the universe goes from simplicity to complexity, and from being comprised of a few parts to many. It does not stop there. Humans then seek to organize themselves into even larger and more complex organisms or superorganisms known as societies, because And you could see where it was leading us to, right? Now, small society in turn joins with what? Other societies, forming what? Empires, right? And global civilizations. So on and so on. Thus, while each thing is becoming more complex, it seeks to join with other things, forming even larger and even more complex things. Thus, this drive of nature is embedded in each and everything in creation. Come on, to multiply and divide and be ordered, right? To be multiplied, divided, and ordered. This drive of nature is embedded in any or in everything in creation. When anything in this universe ceases to strive toward greater complexity by being a part of a greater order or organization, I hope y'all listening to this, it withers and dies. This can be seen from the individual cells of the body. Now, it's so many levels that's going on right now, and I won't stop to parse this, but I just want to say that whoever this is talking to in your spirit, you've been looking to start that thing, or you've been wanting to move in a certain realm in your life. Come on here, God. And you wonder why every step getting more complicated and more complicated. And you think, nah, God, this ain't for me. But watch this. When anything in this universe ceases to strive toward greater complexity, come on here, Holy Spirit, by being a part of a greater order or organization. Now, there may be some that you need to connect to. Come on here, somebody. You want to be a one hit. You want to be an overnight sensation and do everything alone. This is a different dispensation. We need solidarity. Watch this. It says, when it doesn't work toward greater complexity, it withers and dies. This is when doubt sets in, right? Come on, disease. Come on. This can be seen from the individual cells of the body to humans and society when muscles are not used. Come on, atrophy. We going there. When muscles are not used. Come on. We out here to wake up some muscle membranes. Come on. We out here. BBT. Peace to the clan. Watch this. When muscles are not used, they sense they are useless to the body and begin to what? Self-destruct. That's like that's it. Let's take a person, whatever you connected to, something bigger than yourself. If you can't see yourself in the bigger picture, you feel like you useless. You feel like I should just self-destruct. So I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm talking to somebody real good right now. Watch this. This is known as atrophy. But we here for you. The BBT is a friend. As humans, we must be part of a larger organism or society. Come on here. And human isolated or exiled from society will sense they are useless and will wither and perish. Come on. Somebody, that's a wilderness experience. We're going to come out of that. As individuals, most of our people here, and this is where we're going to close it, in the United States are like superfluous or useless cells. You know, superfluous is just like too many, excess, overflowing, or useless, right? Cells in the body or organisms of the United States. Cells that feel that they are useless to the whole organism, wither and die. That's why we need to value each part of our society. Why? As thriving contributors that are valuable and provide impact. These are whatever you want to do, classifications of people, different neighborhoods, different ethnic backgrounds. this is it. This is what we're talking about, right? This is what counts in large part for our low life expectancy, low self-esteem. Come on here, somebody. High amount of stress-related illnesses, self-inflicted violence, high rates of alcohol and drug abuse, crab in the barrel mentality, right? We can talk about that though. ETC, right? We must organize ourselves into a thriving organism or society and then work out what? How we will relate with the larger society, right? A lot of times we want to heal the world, but you can't even talk to the person in upstairs. Come on here, somebody. I'm talking. Now, we must organize ourselves. Come on. We have somewhere skipped a step. Come on, Arthur. And try to be what? Part of one level of organization, right? Without first being part of a level or organization below that, right? So like in the author's reference here, he putting like, okay, you're part of a state, right? As a whole, the United States, but what about your local municipalities? Like, are you involved with that? Right? State, republic, etc. We are like cells. Come on, not part of now a particular organ, right? Trying to be part of a body. I'm gonna read that again. We are like cells, not part of no particular organ, particular organ, trying to be part of a body. Now watch this. Many cells, not part of an organ or serving some other purpose, is eliminated one or two ways. What do? We excrete it as urine, feces, sweat, or vomit, or what? It's treated as a virus or a parasite. Come on. Now, we starting to get down to society when you look at outlaws or undesirables, whether they be people, right? Whole classifications of people turn into what some deem as what? They could be eliminated. they start being a tumor, if you will, to what? Society. Come on. Now, perhaps the only reason we still exist is because the amount of money we spend as consumers is more than the social and economic burden and expense we incur. Islam. We gonna stop there, family. Now we went a little long, but I appreciate your presence. I appreciate your time you took out and shared with us. Just reading over some literature and giving us some food for thought. And we invite you to class. We have adult class on Saturdays, Sunday school Sundays, and we have our holy day book reading on Friday nights. And we would like to invite you to private class so you can ask your questions and you can feel comfortable and we can build in solidarity, a fellowship, Islam. So on the behalf of the BBT tribe and the illustrious Sheikh Khari, Goodman L. Bay, we want to invite you. We're casting our net out to all true and divine light seekers to come and join on to us. For the truth has no sides. For the truth is one, as man is with Allah. And with that, we say peace and love. Man, go visit MoorishHaberdasher.com. Go visit www.bbtsciencetemple.com. Go visit ALOdesignpros.com. Visit herbsofmayat.com. bhbaymusic.com. We out here, family. But listen, we can't have this. We can't exist without unity and this universe. Without you and I. And you come first. And it was a plum-pleasing pleasure to be in your presence. And with that, I say peace and love. Come on, let's study. Let's get in our notes and let's come to class. Peace and love.
I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of meager meaning. I have yet.
mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z.
Once again, this broadcast has been brought to you by mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z, where reading fundamental. Also brought to you by bindedbooks.com, where treasures are bound. Be sure to get all of your teas at My Son's Teas, the tea of teas, divinely prepared at herbsofmyaunt.com. Be sure to check out all of those musical stylings by Brian Hicks Spade at bhspademusic.com. For your everyday items and religious regalia, be sure to check out morrishaberdasher.com. And for that everyday especial Moorish drip, be sure to check out moresachi.com. And all of these companies are powered by ALO Design Pros. Design your online business strategy today.
No such thing as failure, baby. Don't forget who made you. You can't be thinking minor when you need to be thinking major. I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of meager means. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dream. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't really. It ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun, it's an everyday thing. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a